Part 5. In Search of Advice. Zorba quickly fire-pulled down the trunk of the chestnut tree, raced across the interior patio to avoid a few roving dogs. Went outside, made sure there was no car coming down the street, crossed, and ran in the direction of Cuneo, an Italian restaurant in the port. 2 alley cats sniffing around a rubbish bin saw him go hurrying by. "Hey pal, do you see what I see? Get an eyeful of that good-looking hunk," one yelled. "Righto, pal." "And so black. Remind you of a lard ball?" "Nah, more like a ball of tar." "Where you going there, ball to tar ball?" The first asked. Although he wasn't very worried about Seagull, Zorba wasn't about to let the remarks of those 2 derelicts go by. So he stopped in his tracks, and as his hair rose stiff along his spine, he jumped up on top of the bin. Slowly, he stuck out his front paw, shot out a claw as long and curved as an upholstery needle, and shoved it into the face of one of his tormentors. "You like this? Well, I have 9 more. How'd you like to have them rake your yellow spine?" he said in a conversational tone, with that claw right in front of his eyes. Cat swallowed hard before he answered. I wouldn't, boss. Great day, isn't it? Don't you agree?" The alley cat's eyes never left the claw. "And you, what do you have to say?" Zorba spit at the second cat. Hey, I think it's a nice day too. Great day for a walk, but maybe a little too cool. Having taken care of that matter, Zorba hurried on to the restaurant when the waiters were setting the tables for the noontime customers. He stopped at the door, meowed 3 times, and sat down to wait. Within a couple of minutes, Segretario, the resident skinny Italian cat, came out. He was nearly whiskerless, with only one long hair on each side of his nose. Scusi, we're very sorry, but you haven't made a reserve. We're not gonna be able to serve you. We got the full house." Secretarial said in his Roman accent. He started to add something more, but Zorba interrupted him. "I need to have a little chat with the Colonel. It's urgent." "Ha! Urgent. It's always someone with some last-minute emergency. I'll see what I can do, but because it's so urgent." Secretary bowed and went back inside the restaurant. The Colonel's age was a bit of a mystery. Some said he was as old as the restaurant he called home. Others maintained he was a little older. He was even older. But his age didn't matter, because everyone remembered that, as a youth, even known as the Nocturnal Colonel, and that he possessed a strange talent for giving advice to cats who had problems. Although the Colonel never actually solved any conflict, his counsel alone was comforting. But for his age and for his talents, the Colonel was the main authority among the podcats. Secretario came back at a trot. "Follow me, El Colonello's gonna see you." "Not at the norm," he meowed. Zorba followed him, treading through the table and chair legs. They headed towards the door of the wine cellar. They bounded down the steps of the narrow stairway, and at the bottom found the Colonel, there like a flagpole, checking for the corks of some bottles of champagne. Oh, porca miseria! The rats have chewed the corks of the best champagne in the house. Zorba! Caro amico! The Colonel greeted his dear friend. Just like Secretary, the Colonel liked to show off a little in Italian himself. Please forgive me for bothering you just when you're busy at work. I have a serious problem and I need your advice. Zorba apologized. I'm at your service, caro amico. Secretario, serve al mio amico here a little of that lasagna al forno they gave us this morning, ordered the Colonel. But it's gone. I didn't get so much as a sniff. Secretary complained. Zorba thanked him, but he wasn't hungry anyway. Quickly, he told the Colonel about the dramatic arrival of the gull, her pitiful condition, and the promises he'd been obliged to make to her. The old cat listened in silence, then mulled over the matter as he swiped his long whiskers. Finally, he yelled, "Porca miseria! You must help that poor Seagull getting shit to fly again." "Yes," Zorba said, nodding. "But how? Why don't we go see el professor?" "That Einstein. He's a know everything," Secretario proposed. "That is exactly what I was going to suggest. Why did this cat take the very words out of my mouth?" the Colonel protested. "Yes, good idea. I will go and see Einstein," Zorba agreed. "We will all go. The problems of one cat in this port are the problems of all the cats in this port," the Colonel declared solemnly. The 3 cats left the cellar and, cutting through the labyrinth of interior patches of the row houses facing the port, hurried towards the temple of the cat called Einstein. Plot 6. A strange place. Einstein lived in a place rather difficult to describe, because at first view you might think it was a cluttered shop of curious odds in it, a museum of exotic whatchamacallits, a storehouse of mechanical thingamajigs, the most chaotic library in the world, or the laboratory of some brainy inventor of screwball contraptions. But it was none of those things. Or rather, it was much more than all these things combined. The place was called Harry's Port Bazaar, and its owner, Harry, was an old sea dog who, during his 50 years of roaming the 7 seas, had devoted himself to collecting every kind of object you could find in the hundreds of ports he had visited. When old age settled into his bones, Harry had decided to trade his setter's life for that of a landlord, and he opened a bazaar that housed the jumble of his collections. He had rented a 3-story house on one of the streets in the port. Soon, it was too small to exhibit the objects in his bazaar. Then he rented the house next door. It had 2 stories, and it too wasn't big enough. After renting a 3rd house, he was able to exhibit the entire conglomeration, arranged, it is true, with a very odd sense of order. He had the 3 houses, joined by narrow stairways. There were nearly 1,000,000 objects. Among them, some worthy of special note: 7,200 hats with floppy brims that would be blown away by the wind, 160 videos from ships dizzy from sailing round and round the world. 245 ship satellites that penetrated the thickest pea soup rocks. 12 engine order telegraphs battered by the ham hands of irate captains. 256 compasses and never veered from notes. 6 wooden life-size elephants, 2 stuffed giraffes posted surveying the savannah, 1 stuffed polar bear, in whose belly lay the right hand of a Norwegian explorer, 700 plants whose blades, when they whirled, recalled the fresh breezes of dusk and the tropics. 1,200 jute hammocks that guarantee the perfect night's sleep. 1,300 marionettes from Sumatra that have performed nothing but love stories. 129 slide projectors that showed landscapes in which you could always be happy. 54,000 novels in 47 languages, drew reproductions of the Eiffel Tower, the first constructed from 500,000 pins, the second from 300,000 toothpicks, 3 cannons from English corsairs, 17 anchors from the bottom of the North Sea, 2,000 paintings of sunsets, 17 typewriters that belonged to famous authors, 128 flannel long johns, men taller than 6 feet, 7 diner jackets for dwarfs, 500 pipes filled with sea foam, 1 astrolabe that stubbornly pointed to a southern cross, 7 huge seashells in which you could hear the distant echoes of legendary shipwrecks, 12 kilometers of red silk, 2 submarine hatchways, and other odds and ends too numerous to list. To visit Harry's Bazaar, you had to pay an entrance fee. And what's inside? You needed a well-developed sense of direction. And if you didn't want to get lost in the labyrinth of windowless rooms, long corridors and narrow stairways. Harry had 2 pets. Matthew, a chimpanzee who acted as the ticket taker and security guard for the old seaman, played checkers with him, of course, very badly, drank his beer, and tried to shortchange his customers. The other mascot was Einstein, a small, slim, grey cat that devoted most of his time to studying the thousands of books in Harry's collection. The Colonel, Secretario, and Zorba trotted into the bazaar with tails raised high. I'm sorry not to see Harry behind. Did I get asked because the old man had always had affectionate words and a piece of sausage for them. In just 1 minute, you fleabags. You're forgetting you have no pay. You have to pay. Matthew yelled. Since when does a gato have to pay? Secretario protested. The sign over the window says entry fee 2 marks. Nowhere does it say that cats get in free. 8 marks? Are you out of here? The chimp screeched emphatically. Excuse me, Senor Monkey, but I fear the numbers is not your strong point, Secretary rejoined. That's exactly what I was going to say. Once again, you had to rush in ahead of me. The Colonel complained. Blah, blah, blah. Either pay up or get out, Matthews threatened. Zorba sprang up on the ticket desk and stared into the eyes of the chimp. He stared until Matthew blinked and his eyes began to water. Alright then, let's say 6 months. Any chimp can make a mistake, he squeaked. Zorba, still staring him down, shot out 1 claw in his right front paw. You like this, Matthew? Well, I have 9 more. The Can you imagine all 10 dug into that red rump you always have stuck up in here? He threatened quietly. Well, this time I looked the other way. The chief agreed, pretending to be calm. You can go in. The 3 cats, tails proudly aloft, disappeared into the maze of corridors.